my friends, Jan of Jan Hoots Creates here, coming at you with cross stitch and knitting and a little bit of planner stuff too, because that's another rabbit hole I've gone down. Thank you for coming back and joining me today. If you've been here before, if you are new, welcome to my little crazy corner of Flosstube. We have a lot of fun here. I stitch a lot of things. I design a lot of things, and I'm loving it all. And I hope you do too. So let's see. I'm going to start with saying I'm sorry I don't have any pretty travel pictures at the beginning of the video. We basically haven't gone anywhere since we got back from Seattle. But on Saturday, we will be heading down to Phoenix to visit Mike's dad. We'll be there for a week. I do plan on getting over to the attic probably either next Friday or Saturday. Saturday's more likely just because we don't want to have to drive in the city traffic, the Phoenix traffic, if we don't have to. Yeah, you know, living in a small town, it kind of spoils you when it comes to big city traffic. So, I hope I have some pretty pictures for you in the next video. We also are looking forward to getting to sunshine and warmer weather for a short while. This isn't bothering me. I'm not going out that much. But it's been gray and cold. It's in the 20s. I actually have the window open in here. I had my little mini heater on and it got so warm in my sweater I had to open the window a little bit. But it is in the low 20s. Not getting much warmer than that for the next however long. Winter in Idaho. Welcome. Let's see. So I have some finishes of my designs to show you. I have lots of other stitching to show you. I have knitting to show you. So, and like I said, planner stuff. Oh, it's a whole new world. So I'm going to jump right in. Starting with my design work. Newest design I did release yesterday. Make sure there's not a cat hair on it. This is In My Heart. Just a little sweet little stitch for Valentine's Day in non-traditional colors. The stitch count on this is 52 by 91, so much smaller than my typical, but it still has kind of like that, the Seasons in Lace look with the different borders, and then that big heart is full coverage. DMC, like I said, 5 colors, so not very many colors either. This is stitched on 36 count Mocha by Weeks Dye Works in the DMC. I did also provide in the chart an alternate colorway in reds in case you really prefer the reds for Valentine's Day. I prefer the blues. But really, you could change this into whatever colors you like the best. Somebody mentioned this morning on my Instagram post that it would even be pretty in monotone, monochrome if you just wanted to do one color. If you just like for the heart, if you didn't stitch the background, if you just did the flowers in it. Rose, my dear friend Rose Heck, suggested that I mount this on a book. And I think I don't consider this fully finished because I do want to do something else with it, either find a frame to put it in. But I love her ideas of finding an old book to mount it in. So as soon as I start going out again, I'm going to look for a book. I think that's a brilliant idea. The other one fully finished is Midnight Clear. So I showed it to you the last time fully stitched, but I got it. And this is a frame that I had gotten at, you know, a local thrift store here for $2. And I just think it fit perfectly. I did have some red cording that I put around it, and I had some little Christmas trims to put on it, and I love the way it turned out. So that is my design, Midnight Clear. I did forget to say, okay, this is currently in my Etsy shop. It is on everything cross stitch. So if you are a paper pattern person, you can order it from Everything Cross Stitch. It has been sent to Fat Quarter Shop, and I would expect that the PDF for this will be up by the end of the day, but I will have all the links below as I get them. I sent the PDF to Silk, so it takes, that takes a little bit longer because there is a process of them having to get all the patterns approved by Apple before they can load them in the app. But that will be in there probably in a week or so for those that like to use Silk. And if you are a pattern paper person, again, all of my patterns are now on Everything Cross Stitch. Not the full coverage ones at this point, but all the other ones. Everything Cross Stitch is linked into ICG, which is the print on demand wholesale website for shops. So if you do have a shop that you like to shop at, let them know that they can get my patterns from ICG. I would really appreciate it if you start talking to your shops. I know Acorns and Threads, they got my patterns in like the week after I was there. Carolyn did send me a picture of them or a little video of them. Seeing my patterns out there in the wild is kind of fun. But yeah, if there's something, if you would prefer to shop at your local shop, let them know that they can get my patterns in from ICG. I would love that. And of course, I would love to see them. Future works, I am starting to stitch the sewing box sampler number 2. That will be going with me to Phoenix for me to concentrate on getting that stitched up. I have gotten the silk floss, the MPI floss, for my next NPI design that I partner with Fat Quarter Shop on. And there are some other things happening in the background that I am really, really excited about, some threads that I can't wait to start using. I think they're going to create some really stunning cross-stitch projects. So lots going on in my brain, lots happening. I would say I'm going to just stick a little planner thing in here right now. I showed this on my Instagram page. This is my planner. I did get a happy planner, and I'm keeping track of, I don't have a separate one for my cross stitch. I just keep track of all of it in here, everything I want to get done during the day. All the little bits and pieces of life are happening in here. So you can see down at the bottom, I write down what my hourly projects are and what my focus is. So I have to say, I feel like, where has this been all my life? I feel so productive with this going on. Very happy with it. I have created my layout for next week. I don't have all the writing in it yet because I won't do that until this week is almost over, so I can know what I got done and what I need to carry over. This is from a kit, one of the sticker planner kits. I don't really know the names of anything, the proper terminology for anything at this point, but this is from a company that actually, or a gal here in Idaho Falls called Idaho Paper Company. So I was happy to support a local maker and also get something awfully pretty to put in my planner. So I'm sure I will be buying more things from her. Just loving decorating it all and then keeping track of everything. So I did want to comment, and you'll see my pile of stuff that I touched. And I do think that this is helping me remember more. Even though I have a list in notes in my iPad, I feel like having it here kind of planned out day by day is helping me remember to touch the things I want to touch. And you'll see I touched a lot this week. Now there are some days that what I had written down, what I had planned, especially for the hour ones, didn't work, either because I was just too tired or wasn't feeling that particular pattern, or I had to concentrate on one. Like this one, I really wanted to get done and up into my shop this week before we went to Arizona. So for a while, this was just an hour stitch, but then I decided that I needed to just work on it until it was done. So pretty much everything else got put to the side. And that kind of happens, but at least having everything kind of written down and planned out for the week keeps me on track. So, I also, well, I'll show you that later. All right, so what have I touched besides my designs? First and foremost, this is Patchwork by Jan Haltman. I don't know whether it's a silent or a Yod J or a JJ, like Jacob de Graaf is actually Jacob, not Jacob. So I don't know. But anyways, get the kitty fur off of it. Patchwork. Now I did work, there's a little motif here. I got that done on Sunday. And I felt so accomplished to actually start and finish one. And of course that's a smaller one. But, so this is actually charted. Let me pull up the picture. This is actually charted in a bunch of different colors. And as I mentioned last week, I am doing it in a kind of diagonal rainbow type of thing. So this is the cover of the pattern, and you can see just, you know, different colors here and there, some repeated, some not. So what I'm doing is using Mrs. Sada's silk flosses and not really planning out each motif, other than I know that I'm going to keep with the diagonal rainbow effect, right? So each time I start a new motif, you'll see I have started one here, this circular one here that's in an orange, so I will continue that in that orange. What I've done is pulled out, so the next part of the rainbow that I'm going to be working on, because I feel like I'm pretty much done with the pinks and the reds. There might be some more scattered through here, I'm not sure. But for the most part, I'm done with that. So I went to my Mrs. Sada's floss and pulled out the oranges and the reds, or the oranges and the yellows that I may want to use. And I do not know that I will use all of these, but I wanted to have them out so when I'm ready to start the next motif, I'll look at the overall flow of the pattern, I'll go to these and decide which one I want to use next. And I'm going to try, I don't really know. I was going to say, I'm going to try not to, so this is a very pale color, right? I was thinking for a while that I might make bold to pale. I don't know that I'll try and do that, because that might not really work. And if I start that and it doesn't work, then that could get just kind of messy. But anyways, it is just kind of pick as I go, having the colors in front of me and deciding which one will work the best, and also which one I want to stitch with, because that's a large part of this. So that is Patchwork by Jan Haltman. So it is available on Etsy, and again, I'll link this below. The name of the shop on Etsy is Naldendraad. I believe it's also available on European Cross Stitch, although I've not double checked that in a while to say for sure. Next, so these bigger pieces, I'm kind of naming my Saturday and Sunday pieces. And again, I have it all written out on my planner. And my plan, my idea is that Saturday and Sunday, I kind of get away from the more business stitching and have time for the more pleasure stitching. That doesn't always work either, because Saturdays and Sundays can be busier than I really want them to be. But that's the plan. So, having said that, English garden, 16th century English garden something or other. I call it English garden for short. This is a Liz Turner deal pattern that I've had since the 90s, I think. I have the 2 gardens up at the top done, and I'm starting this triangle. I had really hoped to get the triangle done on Saturday, but as I said, Saturdays can be busier than I anticipate. So I basically only got the outline done and started to fill in a little bit. Actually, the thing that took the longest on this, because it had been put away and I was just pulling it out, I had to pull out all the floss that I needed as well. So that took up a chunk of time, because just in that little, well, actually I pulled out the floss I need for the whole pattern. And so that's what I have here. I have them on the Sarcy Girl floss rings, which I do love. Now, one of you had asked, let me see, I think it's Robin Gallimore. I think you had asked, how easy is it to remove one strand of floss from these rings? I'm going to take my needle off here. I actually don't, I can understand how you'd think with it being kind of looser on the floss ring that it might be harder to control and you'd end up pulling the whole thing off. But what I do is I hold the ring itself in my left hand and kind of hold on to the threads down at the bottom, so that when I do need, and of course I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really tell if I'm just pulling one thread or not. That was more than one. I think that might be more than one too. I'm not going to try and get my glasses on. I think I have 2 here. I might have one. I don't know. But anyways, I just hold down on the threads with my one hand and pull up. And you can see it's doing the same kind of, you know, pulling up through, but it's very easy to just pull it out. So it's not hard at all, as long as you just, you know, hold on to it. Pull that back down. So yeah, so that's what took quite a long time with this project, and why I didn't get as much stitched, because I did end up pulling out all the floss I needed for it. I am going to take this with me to Phoenix this weekend, or this week, so that, and I would like this to be my focus piece for the week, depending on how much I get done of the sewing box sampler, because I really, if I'll be stitching on that all day as my work. And let me back up and say, visiting Mike's father, Mike also has to still work, because he works remotely. He can work from anywhere, right? So it'll just be a chance to be with his father, to have someone in the house with him to visit, but not necessarily, it's not like we're going and doing things, you know, we're just visiting. Just visiting sounds kind of strange, but you know, it's a chance to be together. So even though we will both be working, it's important to be there. So anyways, my work day project is my sewing box sampler, and then I hope to have that as my focus in the evening, so I can get a chunk of that done. That was an awfully long explanation, wasn't it? Okay, next. I have a couple mini finishes here, which I am absolutely thrilled about. So, By the Bay Seasons, this is last year's, no, 2 years ago stitch along. When I showed you this before, I just had a little bit of autumn to finish up here. So I did get that done. So I'm ready. Winter works across here. So once we get back from Phoenix, this will be my project in the evenings, my focus in the evenings, I think, to get started on winter. Now, I did have another question from, let's see, Autumn Hahn. In my Basics of Cross Stitch video 6, that is the one that is all about variegated floss. She was wondering how you work with a variegated floss that is one that has a very, basically that's two different colors, that has very strong color change to it. How would you work with it so that you have one color in one area and another color in another area? And she was wondering if I could show the back of any of my pieces to give her an idea of what that looks like. So I thought I would show you my By the Bay piece, because I do that a bit in the water up here in the summer area. So all through here is, I believe that is Tropical Ocean by Gentle Arts. It actually might be one of the Victorian motto colors. I don't remember. But you can see there is some different, like going from brighter turquoise to greener. And I didn't want to do stripes. You know, I didn't want the variegation to stripe, which would happen if I just worked back and forth. So what I do, I pay attention to the color coming up into, you know, the color that's coming next into the fabric. Does that make sense? And so, like, again, I don't know how well you can see this. There's a little pulling of green right there, and that's exactly what I do. So it's only like maybe, I don't know, 6-8 stitches. When I see a chunk of color coming up on my thread next, I will just like diagonal around with that color. And then if another color's coming up, then I'll work that in like a clump. Or if there's too much in that and I want to jump someplace and put that color someplace else, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll jump and have a length of thread on the back, but I'll jump and work that color somewhere else. Now, I don't know if you can really tell where I've made the jumps, because there's so many other threads on top. And yes, I'm going to show you my backs, but there are some longer threads happening as I jump around. Not so much that it's kind of annoying. I don't make big jumps, but it really is just a matter of planning out kind of where you want the colors to be, and then not being afraid to jump several stitches over. I never jump further than 10. 10 might seem like a lot. I don't usually work in that way anyway. So if I want to jump, it's usually only 3 or 4 stitches that I'm jumping. But that's kind of how you have to think about it. I hope that helps a little bit. Let me know if Autumn, if you're watching, or if anybody else has any questions. And I do go into it in my All About Variegated Floss, like I said, in my Basics of Cross Stitch series. All right, the other mini finish that I had, well, it's kind of sort of a finish, but still a little bit to do, if that makes sense, is my Sing a Song, what is it? Sing a Sampler series by Silver Creek Samplers. So this is the one that's Do Re Mi in the rainbow colors. Do you see a theme here? So I did get, throw a thread away, I did get me, the square for me done. So I'm quite happy with how that turned out. Now you can see that I'm working on the verse on the top. I had the word no in there, but it struck me as I was starting to stitch the next word, when you know. What's the next word? When you know the notes to sing. That's what it is. I remembered that in the person's sampler that I'm copying from, right? This is not my idea for the rainbow colors. It is I stole it from somebody. And all that information is on my color conversion page on my blog. I remember that there was something about the words. If you stitch them the way they are presented in the chart, then it won't fit. Because the chart, the way it's charted is made to be one long piece for do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the words have more room to spread out. Because in this rendition of it, we're doing it in two rows, the words don't fit if you want to have part of the verse above the first half and part of the verse underneath the second row, which is how she planned it out. Let me show you what I mean. So, mi and fa. You can see there that the word sing, you've lost the G, part of the N and the G. The top row ends at fa. So in order to make that N and G fit, you have to squish the rest of the letters together. So you'll see underneath Ray, the word no is over as charted like 4 or 5 stitches. That's how I had first stitched it. And then I realized, wait, I have to squish that up. So I took that out last night. And I'm redoing it, and then these other ones, you can see it differs from word to word how many spaces she has left between them, but I will be using less to get sing all over top of the block for fa. So I hope to get the words done tonight and tomorrow, so that I can leave this home and that section will be totally done. So when I come back, I can start fa. So just a note, I wanted to make sure you guys know that are doing this as well if you're doing this conversion, because that is important. All right, I told you I have a lot that I touched. Next, Home for Christmas. This is Plum Street Samplers. This is my Christmas one for the month. I got the bottom brown border stitched. Got a start on the little pot. Needed something simple and fairly brainless last night to stitch, so came in and started working on the white down here. There's still a lot to stitch on this, but I'm going to stick with this one. This is going with me to Phoenix because I really would love to get this done this month and get that off of my list. And to Anne. And then last but not least, stitching wise, I haven't been telling you which fabrics I've used for any of these. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm sorry about that. I try to do better. Long and Winding Road, Blackbird Design. So this was a new start for me in January. I am stitching this on 40 count Old Dirty by Kaniki's Prims and Whims, and I am using Vicki Clayton's conversion into her silks. And you can see I just got one side of the road mostly done, and yeah, I think just one side of the road mostly done. I think I had hoped to start the center. There's a different color coming up the center of the road. I had hoped to start that this week, but that didn't happen. This will be going with me to Phoenix as well. All right. Oh, wait, one more thing that I touched. It's actually been a couple weeks since you've seen me, so that's okay. That is, whoops, hold on. Flinging linen all over the place. The Smith Sampler. This is from last Sunday that I was able to touch this. And I'm having a hard time telling what I'm showing you. I did get the swan in the middle done and started to work on the water. So this is 40 count. It's either 40 or 46. Don't remember. I think it's Straw. I'm pretty sure it's Straw by Weeks Dye Works. And I am using some of the called for silks and some my own conversion because I couldn't find the called fors. So again, a Sunday project. I had on my list, that was from the previous Sunday, I had on my list for this past Sunday to work on Luz Gonzalez. I think instead of that, I worked on something else and I can't remember. So yeah, that happens. I think I actually was working on the sewing box sampler, and then everything I did, I'm going to have to redo because the colors are not right. This has been a tricky one to decide the colors on, so I'm going to have to restart that one, but that will be worked on this week. Okay, the other, okay, so knitting. For those of you that watched my blocking video, you saw this, but I know not everybody watched that. This is the Wilson Ruana. I had finished knitting it a while ago, but I finally got it blocked. And it is a stunning piece of knitting, if I do say so myself, and blocking, because with blocking you have the lace showing. So it's just such a pretty piece. So got that blocked. Still have at least one, maybe two other things that I need to block. So hopefully I will get those done over the next few weeks. What I'm currently knitting on, thanks to Rose Heck and her suggestion, and Rose, I hope you're working on this too. I haven't heard from you in a little while. And that is the Flutter Poncho. This is a poncho that uses several different colors of yarn, and my yarn's all scrolled up in here, which happens. It's knit in the round, and uses short rows to create these wonderful, wonderful shapes. And every few rows, after you've done a short row section, you increase, because this is a poncho and that's not going to fit. So it slowly increases and changes colors. So this, I believe I finished section maybe D or E. There's a few more sections. Shapes is what they're called, before you move on to the next section. And the next section I'll be using a different color for the short rows. But anyway, this is a lot of fun. I actually haven't worked on this that much this week. Trying to get the In My Heart design done, plus other things, but that is, I knit when we're driving. When Mike's driving, I knit. So there will be a lot of knitting time in the car on Saturday and Sunday, and then coming back again. All right. So that's all that activity. Let me see where we are. Alrighty, so haul. I actually don't have very much haul, which is good because I went overboard at Acorns and Threads. And then, of course, I'm going to the attic, although I don't anticipate getting much there either. I feel like I need to save myself for Nashville Market because I think the sneak peeks are going to be starting soon. They've already started a little bit, and there's always stuff I want from markets. So anyway, a little bit of haul, if I can find it. Okay, so first and foremost, from a maker on Etsy called Wood Wool Stories. This is just so gosh darn adorable, is this little guy. So it's a little caddy that you keep on your table for all of your goodies and knickknacks and tools. Little spool has a hole in it to put your scissors. And there's this little kind of cup to hold things. The cup, as you can see, actually has a magnetic bottom, and it can be changed out for this little cup that looks more like a goblet. So if you would find that more useful, you can have that on there. The little sheep also has a magnet on it, so that comes out. And then pin cushion with a little sheep pin on it. Is that not adorable? Now, I keep this on my side table, my end table up on my stitching spot upstairs. The person who makes this, so it's a woman and her husband. Her husband does the woodworking, and then Julie puts the thread on the spools, makes the pin cushion, does the clay work for the pins, and does the crochet for the sheep. She also has, I think, an owl. I don't know what all little animals you could switch out for the sheep, but there are a couple different ones. She also sent to me as a gift this gorgeous, gorgeous kind of plate bowl with, again, a pin cushion in the middle, but look at the beadwork on that pin cushion. She does that all herself, and then she also included this little pin in it that she also made. The other pins and needles are mine, but just, I mean, it's gorgeous. I forget which wood she said this is. It's stunning. I think it's a special wood from Africa, maybe, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't really remember, though. She is located in the Dallas area. She is the one that made the counting pins that Maria gifted to me, and now I'm wondering where I put those. She is the one that made the pins for the Midnight Clear bag as well. So just gorgeous. I will be linking her Etsy shop below. I'm keeping this back here. This stays back here behind me with little doodads, my little tomato with the emery strawberry on it back there, and just some other little doodads to kind of make it look pretty. So anyway, I will link the shop below because you guys need one of these. They're, I mean, beautiful. This is a different wood. Just, I mean, beautifully made, beautifully finished. Love it. All right, you're going over there. I also got the supplies I need for Heartfelt. So Heartfelt is the annual charity stitch along and quilt along that the Fat Quarter Shop hosts, with the proceeds going to Make-A-Wish Foundation, Central and South Florida. Now, the quilt that the stitching is based on, the colors were a little bright for me. I decided to soften them up a little bit. So this is what I have for that. It's basically the same colors as the original, just softer. The first release for this comes out on February 4th. I'm stitching it on 40 count Mayflower. I did get, it's underneath here. So all this is from Fat Quarter Shop. I did get a honkin' big piece of Mayflower. So it's Fox and Rabbit from Fat Quarter Shop. One thing that I wish they would do is cut up the fabric, because this is a big investment. I believe this is a yard of fabric. It's gorgeous. I'm using this as well for my sewing box sampler. I'll be using it for a lot of things. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fabric, but it is an investment. So I kind of wish Fat Quarter Shop would, you know, it's additional work for them, additional people they'd have to employ, additional time. So I understand why they don't, but I kind of wish they would offer cuts of the fabric. I got a couple of sweet thank you cards for some of the gifts that I sent in the holiday gift extravaganza. I wanted to let you, this one is from Charlotte Jorgensen, and this is actually a Christmas card from Winnie Rodriguez. Oh my God, Winnie. Winnie Rodriguez. Christmas card / thank you card. So I do only have 5 more gifts to send out. Hallelujah. I'm ready to be done with that. So next on the agenda, I had told you a while ago that I was signing up for the Legacy Fiber Arts Treehouse Fibers linen club. That did start in January, and I got my first piece of linen. So this is called Old North Church. It is a 40 count fat quarter. They have an Ada club and a linen club. And again, I'll have all this linked below. Crinkle, crinkle. So this is another just gorgeous neutral. And I think you can sign up for neutrals or brights or surprise me. And I might have done surprise me. I don't really remember. But gorgeous neutral. Again, it's called this colorway is called Old North Church. And they included a little write-up of the history of the Old North Church. And on the back, for those that might not remember, they have the poem, Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. And they also included, as a little gift, the Cupid colorway for Valentine's Day, the Cupid floss from Classic, right? Classic Colorworks. So, thank you, ladies. Gorgeous. I can't wait to continue this club. It's gorgeous fabric. I got my pack of variegated flosses, the monthly variegated flosses from Vicki Clayton, hand-dyed fibers. Again, link will be below. So again, she's continuing the conversion into, for the overdyed flosses. So this one is called Fun Sponge. Excuse my squinting at these. Mere Folly. More Folly, Mere Folly. Oh, well, we'll make it up as we go along. That's what I'm good at. Fallen Fruit. Oh, that's scrumptious. She does have on her website a link to something she's calling Knowledge Base, which has spreadsheets for what overdyed flosses her colors equate to. This is called Read Between the Lines. That is gorgeous. Delicate Mouse. As you can tell, this is my first time seeing these since I hadn't opened the package yet. Palmer's Kiss. That's interesting. Old as Time. She comes up with the most interesting names. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on for this. Kiwano. I think it's supposed to be a play on kiwi and something else. Kiwano. Handoff. Oh, that's pretty. And Waffle Pocket. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Highly, highly recommend her clubs if you're interested. One last little piece of haul, and this was kind of a shoot, I wish I hadn't done that moment. So this is the Stony Creek winter sampler, and they do have, and this is part of why I wish I hadn't done it, because now I feel like I need the other ones. So they have summer, spring, and autumn as well, and they show it on the back, of course. And the reason why I wish I hadn't done it is when I was originally charting this, I wanted to do it in over-dyed flosses. And I had some in mind that I wanted to use, but mostly I didn't really know. And it's really hard when you don't have an LNS close by to go and look at their wall of floss and pick out colors. It's hard to do it online. One of the colors I really wanted to use for the dark blue, though, was Gentle Arts Brethren Blue. I keep bumping you, I'm sorry. Was Gentle Arts Brethren Blue. And of course, Gentle Arts is still just impossible to get, and especially that color. I happen to have hoarded like 3 skeins when it started to go out of stock so much a couple years ago. But anyways, I did order a couple, I did find a couple of the colors, something for this blue, which is 931, and black coffee for what is 844. I ordered it from 123 Stitch. You can't just order a couple things of floss, right? I had to find something to go with it, and this struck my fancy. So now I need the other ones. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, let's see. Planner goodies. So I think that's, oh, yeah, so planner goodies. I'll just show you these real quick. Like I said, Rabbit Hole, Jan, meet Rabbit Hole. So this is what I have so far. Like I said, it is a Happy Planner that I'm using. So I have a lot of the Happy Planner sticker books. More are coming. I also have ordered a couple of sets from independent makers on Etsy and with their own websites. I ordered these before I really even understood what I had, so they don't really work totally well for the version that I have, but I'll make them work. I have more stickers coming today. Yeah, deep, deep hole. So many gorgeous artists out there making stickers. Oh my God. All right, so as you can see, I think I have started off well for 2022. I have a couple new starts. I have more new starts planned. I think I have new starts planned for pretty much every month, except maybe September. And I have several new starts for my birthday month. Now, one of which is After the Roses. I am still waiting on the silk conversion from Vicky for that one, but that's not needed until March, so that's fine. The other thing I've decided to start is the Marie Ceron sampler. So this is by Lindsay Lane Designs. I did get, let's see, I've gotten, there are five sections to this. I got one of these at, or I was introduced to this, I guess, too, from the Tinsmith's wife in Comfort, Texas. So this is one of the center portions. This is a reproduction sampler. It's a big reproduction sampler. And the designer, Lindsay Lane, has kind of separated it out into 5 different pieces. And I'm not totally sure how they go together, but this is the center. And then you have these 2 pieces in the center as well, one above and one below the piece that I just showed you. And then, whoops, I just showed you the back. Oh my God. There. All right. And then on each side of that center panel are these 2 panels. And you can see that the colors look totally different. She has a bright in Classic Colorworks and a faded in the Gentle Art colors. I'm going to be doing the faded. I am going to look through the silks that I have so far from Vicki Clayton and use those. And then if I need more, I will see what else she has. or use some other silks that I have. I'm going to be stitching this on the piece of vintage buttercream that I got, 46 count, that I got from Acorns and Threads when I was there on the 29th. It's a little bit bigger than what I need, so it's just going to be perfect. This is a birthday start, so I have some time to pull all that together. 30th, January 30th, I am going to be attending the Acorns Gathering. Acorns and Threads is sponsoring that. That is a Zoom get-together. I am so excited. I've been seeing the pictures from those of you that got to attend Stitch Away, the keepsakes hosts. My friend Maria went to it. So jealous, so jealous. Mostly that you guys got to spend time in person with Maria. I love her. So this isn't an in-person get-together. It is just a Zoom get-together, but still, it will be fantastic. It is all day. I don't think there's any openings left. I am thrilled that I got in. The kit for the class, it's all a surprise. I don't know who or what. It is being sent down to my father-in-law's, so I will be doing it there. And then we will be leaving the next day for home. So, I think that is all that I have for you. I have several of you that have asked me questions for more details on the hope stand, how to put a project on scroll rods, more details on the sewing method. Okay, so several of you have asked me to show me actually sitting and stitching with my lap stand. So again, the hope stand, just very simple arms where the stitching rests on. One of you had asked how it looks to flip things over to, Nina's like, fine, I'll sit over here. How easy it is to flip it over to end your threads on the back, right? And since it's not attached to a clamp or anything, you just flip it over, end the thread, and flip it back. It's not like there's anything, you know, complicated or different about it. So to stitch, the thing I think I like the mat most is that it is infinitely adjustable, whether you need to move these arms further up so that it moves the stitching further up, move it further down, or use the longer arms to have more reach. I also like that I could, if I need to, I can drop this side a little bit more so that I dropped it too much because it was kind of too much. If I'm feeling any pain here, I can make the adjustments easily that I need to make in order to bring comfort or to change. You know, even just little adjustments can make a big difference when you have the repetitive motion that happens with stitching. One of you asked the weight of it. It is just about 5 pounds, a little bit under 5 pounds. With the shorter arms on, although the longer arms, it's not like they weigh a whole lot more. It's not like it's going to make that much difference. To travel with it, you would need to take these off, so they're just screwed in here, take the arms off, and then it would just all lay flat in a suitcase or whatever. Since I do have the shorter base, it probably would fit in a carry-on as well. My base is only 18 inches as opposed to the standard 22 inches. So, yeah, for two-handed stitching, I mean, it just works really well for me. Now, there were several of you that asked, how does it do for tabletop stitching? So, it's my pattern on my clipboard. Turn that upside down so you can't see it. So Of course, it's going to depend on the height of your table, the height of your chair. This isn't necessarily the best setup for tabletop stitching. But if I needed to use this, what I would do, tilt this down further, and I would unscrew these and bring, so you can see there's still 3 holes up here. I would bring this down to the top hole so it drops it further down. You can see it sits on the table really sturdily. I mean, there isn't any tipping at all. So I think even if I had to bring this down further, it's not like it's going, I mean, it's very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. And then, yeah, I think it would work really well. And I am going to StitchCon the first weekend, or the A weekend. I probably will take this with me. Maybe. I don't know what I'm working on yet, right? In May or in June. So who knows? I may not. But anyways, if I had to work on this with a table, I think it would work really, really well. So I hope that has answered some of your questions. Like I said, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the flexibility of it. Yeah, I think it's a well-made, well thought out, answers all my needs stands. So let me know if you have any more questions, and I will try to answer those. Okay, so one last question I had was, or that someone had for me, was to show more details about the sewing method. I do have 2 tutorial videos talking about this, but she asked for more details. Number one, like how I start, to see it, basically to see it from like start to finish on a row. And also if I could show it doing my legs in the other way from the way I do that. So the opposite way of laying my legs. So first I'm going to do just start across a row and back, and then I'll see if I can do a row opposite, which should be quite entertaining. Anyway, so start from the beginning. I do have the loop start. This is a, 30 count? Let me remind myself, 30 count Murano. So it is an even weave, 2 strands of floss, loop start. So first thing I do is find where I want to start on the even weave or linen, and I want to start where the weave is over top of, so the let's see, warp goes left to right, weft. The weft thread is laying over top of the warp thread because that helps me to create prettier stitches. So the thread, the vertical thread, is over top of the horizontal thread, and that's the square I'm going to be working in. Loop start, I do not come up from the bottom, I go from the top. So I put my thread down through, and there's my loop waiting for me. I do cross my bottom leg, bottom left to upper right. So I bring the needle up and go through the loop. And then I go back down, oops, come back here, needle. I go back down through that hole that I went down through with the loop, that the loop was coming up in. So that way I'm not fussing and turning, having to turn over to, you know, find out where the loop is when I'm going through. I just do it all on the top. And then when I put that thread, my needle back down through that hole where the loop was, I just have to give it a little tug, and it pulls the loop down through. Okay, so that is the start. Did it pull the loop down through? Yeah. All right, so sewing method. Pretty much the only time my hand goes underneath is when I have to end. Now, one thing I also talk about in those videos, and I'll talk about again here, I never railroad my stitches because I pay attention to how this thread is starting to turn, is starting to bend, how the 2 strands are laying. So you can see they're parallel down here, and then they're starting to make this subtle turn towards the right. What I do is I put my needle underneath those threads before I go down in the hole. So I just kind of give them a little tug, and you can see that kind of gets them aimed in the right direction so that those parallel lines, the 2 lines of floss, stay parallel. So I'm always just kind of, and it gets totally automatic. I'm just paying attention, and it's not like it's perfect. There are times that I have to fuss a little bit with the thread. And of course, there's always times where the thread gets used up unevenly, and that creates its own little wrinkle. And there's always times that there's cat hairs coming into the fabric too, or into the thread. My needle is going down. I usually have either my forefinger or my middle finger down underneath. The fabric is laying over top, and my needle is going down through and kind of just scraping along. And then I do that a little, cat hair drives me crazy when I see it. And I always have cat hair, so you can imagine how crazy my life is. So I'm going underneath, I'm going down with the needle. That needle is poking into my finger. I'm running it along and then just doing a little scoop to bring it up into, and my thumb, even though it's not really doing anything active, it's also doing a little bit of motion to kind of open up that hole a little bit. And bring it down through. So now starting back, I always find the going back row a little bit easier, or a little bit, easier, because the holes are already opened. You know, there's already thread laying in place. So it's kind of, the needle kind of finds it easier. Now, if you look at the thread here, it's starting to turn the other way. Can you see how this cat hair is really driving me crazy today? Can you see how, well, it's straightened out a little bit, but it was starting to turn towards the left. If that's the case, then I know my thread's starting to get twisted, and I just have to untwist it a little bit. And there it is, kind of bending to the right again, along with the cat hair. Oops, went through the wrong hole that one time. More worried about the cat hair. All right, so now I am going to drop down, and this should be interesting. So, I don't even know how to do it. All right, I'm going to be starting with the leg going in, the bottom leg going in the opposite direction, okay? And again, the thread is starting to curve, so I'm just kind of following the curve as I stitch. Do you see how it's kind of bubbling up? I kind of push it over so it continues to follow that line. And I will say, I mean, it's not 100% perfect, nothing ever is, but for the most part, I don't have to fuss with my stitches. They lay nicely. All right, so there's the row. Untwist a little bit and then come back. This feels really weird. Crossing it the opposite way. Hope I'm staying in camera. I feel like I have to pay attention more. All right, so I hope that that gives you just a few more tips on how this goes about, how this works. So yeah, sewing method. Loop start. Keeping the stitches, and I think you can see the stitches are pretty nice and neat. The bottom row isn't as nice and neat. I think you can tell that's not my normal way of stitching. But there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully some of you out there found that useful. But wait, there's more. I totally forgot because I forgot to write it down. See, write it down. I forgot that I had my 4-year Flosstubiversary on the 16th. January 16th is when I put up my first video on YouTube. So here we are 4 years later, and we're going to have just a little tiny party. A giveaway. What a concept. But this one is not mailed. I'm a little bit mailed out. But I do have digital patterns. I have a lot of digital patterns. So my giveaway for my 4-year anniversary is going to be to gift 4 of you with one of my patterns. So what I would like you to do in the comments is tell me which pattern you'd like to win. And then when I get to my next video, which will probably be in about 2 weeks, I will announce the winners for 4 of you, and you will email me, and I will email you the PDF for that pattern. So in the comments, if you would like to help me celebrate my 4-year anniversary, let me know which of my patterns you would like to win. I think that is it, except for our angel card. Let go and let God. He's had a plan for you all along. I need to remember that. I tend to try and force things and get myself in a tizzy and get myself full of anxiety and sleepless nights. So that is a good lesson for all of us. All right, friends, love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week, fantastic weekend. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.